at 3 Joules, and we're about to talk about Buddhist practice in action without the fluff, except I'm probably going to fluff, yeah? Except don't say that in Australia because fluff has a different implication. Sorry for the Russian translators. I'm so sorry, Natasha and Nikita. How do you say fluff with a double entendre in Russian? Nobody knows. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Deborah. Koan, I miss you. Missy, it's a pleasure to have you. Everyone, don't look at Missy. She's shy and she's stunning and we love her. Hi. Who else do we got? Oh my goodness. Carlota. Hi. It's nice to see familiar faces. Hi, Daniel and Chloe. You're not here, you're there. Hi. Welcome, everyone. And there's a bunch of people online in the studio. Who's got the camera just to show it around? Everyone wave to the camera over there. These are all your folk, friends. You're up here, they're down here. That's Emily's side. I'm over there. Yeah. Good. Thanks for coming here. Actually, I'm going to do this. So it's a better way of not seeing you. I looked at so many questions from last week's class. There was a lot of questions around keeping vows, keeping your mind focused on the 6 times book. And by implication, the questions were mostly asking, how do I make a promise? Like, what's this practice about vows, about making a promise? How does that work? And then there were a bunch of questions around what I like to call yes, but, like, I heard all your Buddhist blah, blah, but I'm special. I have anxiety. Yeah, but I'm special. I have an abusive friend. Yeah, I'm special. I have bad thoughts. Yeah, so there's like, yeah, but something like, I hear what you're saying, but for some reason I'm super special. It doesn't apply to me. And so I want to address that as best as I can by going to the fundamentals of what I think makes a Buddhist a Buddhist. And that's to say, I do not want to make anyone a Buddhist in the sense that you have to be a certain way, because that's bull. Okay, that's just more dogma, and that's just more structure, and that's just the same old garbage taking hold of Buddhism now. So I don't want that. That's why I keep using the root of Buddha is Bud, to awake, and a Buddhist is a wake-upist. Yeah, someone who woke up from the stuff that they keep tripping over. So we stop saying, yeah, but, I've got my whole yeah, but for me. Yeah. And that's what human minds will do with any wisdom that will unravel suffering. The first thing it'll do is like, yeah, but special case over here. And I want to burst that bubble by giving you the thing that will give you the tools to stop tripping over the corner of your mind that thinks you will always suffer, that you will always be hurt, that everything will always be terrible. Yeah? There is a possibility, and you can reach it logically first, that the way you think things are, it doesn't have to be. And that sounds like, yeah, fluff. But I'm talking about the specific things you all sent me messages for. Like the anxiety in our minds, Buddhists say, I recognize it, it does exist. But it doesn't stop there, and it's not permanent. It doesn't have to grow, even though sometimes it will. It can be alleviated temporarily, and then it can be removed permanently. And if you can reach that understanding logically with anxiety, you can do that with anger. And if you can do that with anger and anxiety, you can do with another negative, afflictive state of mind, jealousy. If you do it with jealousy, you could do it with fatness, yeah, tumminess. So can you all see that? Say that in Russian, yeah. And so I want to get to that. Would that sound like something worth doing? in order for me to feel like I'm reaching you, because we're still hearing with human ears. Yeah, we're hearing with human eyes. We're hearing with human ears, right? We're hearing with an old identity that says, yeah, but I have to invite you for the next 50 minutes to connect with a part of you that is excited to grow out of suffering. Because we're all too familiar with identifying with, yeah, but I'm broken. Yeah, but I'm broken. And I don't believe you are all always broken. And I don't believe that we are always broken. And I don't believe that the future is only broken. Although that's what our minds tend to say. So I want to go there. If I can invite you to think of a time where you were actually together enough to go, oh, I'm pretty good. Like, life is not bad. Look at me feeling awesome. Or I understood something. And it's not a trick. It's an identification of the fact that you have that capacity in you right now. If you had it before, you have it now. It's there. So can I invite you to listen with the state of mind of your most awesomeness, whatever that is? Like when, Nicole, hi, I'm going to put you in the spot. When's the last time you felt full and amazing? Like really, just first image that comes into your mind, a moment in life where you felt like, this is awesome.
Honestly, when I graduated from
Good. Okay, we have an advertisement for meditation teacher training. No, I know. I hear. What she said when she graduated from meditation teacher training here at 3 Jewels, which starts in 4 weeks. No, but it's true. I mean, I know that experience is where people drop all the bullshit and abide in the most stunning way of being. And I bet you it wasn't just because you were special, but because you saw the special in everyone else. Yeah. Can you listen to this talk the best you can with that state of mind? Can someone else? Emily. I'm just remembering names. When's the last time you felt so awesome? So, I've got this. Like, first picture that comes to mind, and don't say Greece overlooking the ocean last week. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I do feel that way every day.
Yeah, good.
I feel like every day I'm like, something good happens.
Good. So she feels this way every day. And I love this. No, I love this. Who do we identify with the most? Because the mind can have bad days and good days, but who do we identify with the most? So I'm going to invite all of you to do the same. And nobody's watching, it's just you. There's power in all of you that's more radiant than the sun when you are in that state of togetherness. Can I invite you to listen to it with that kind of state of mind, or as best or as close as you can? Deal? Is that good? Does someone just want to listen to this feeling grumpy and shitty? Yeah, who we got there? Carlos? No. Daniel? No. Good. Thank you. Any Russians want to be depressed listening to the talk? No. No good. Nikita's like, good. Good. It makes a difference. And it makes a difference because of what I'm about to cover. The fundamentals of wake-upism states that although we interact with the world out there and we place all our expectations in the world out there, we mistake the experience in here from having been caused by out there rather than contributed by out there and caused in here. I hope you heard that. When you feel a negative emotion or a powerful positive emotion, and then you do that enough times to have a negative identity, oh, I'm broken, or a powerful identity, I'm always awesome, which is awesome. It's not with the stuff out there. We think it is. That's why we move cities. That's why we change boyfriends. That's why you change diets. That's why you change the things out there. But did you not notice? It doesn't matter how much you change boyfriends. you eventually get to a similar mindset. It's coming from us. And so the invite to listen to tonight with that state of mind is already half the problem solved. Does that make sense? Yeah. That should pop 1,000 questions in your mind. Does it mean that things out there don't matter? Should I just pick anyone for the boyfriend? Yes. No, don't do it. The answer is don't have a boyfriend. No, that's not the answer either. But see, our minds do that, right? It's either this specific boyfriend or no boyfriend. But what happened to all the in between? You know, and the core of Wake Upist idea says it really doesn't matter whether there's boyfriend or no boyfriend. Your mind is the thing creating the experience. That's where the attention should be. Because when you find the boyfriend, the hot, stunning Timothy Chalamet boyfriend, I don't know who I was talking to about Timothy Chalamet. There we go. Yeah, I never talk about Timothy Chalamet. No. He'd be creeped out. I'm sorry. If the boyfriend has to be just this right shape and color, right? Shape and colors. It's really all we're doing is shapes and colors. It's got to be this specific thing. Then I'll be happy, or then I'll feel sexy time, or whatever it is that you feel, longing, or, you know. The mistake is that you think it's coming from a Timothy Chalamet. The fact is, some people find him dweeby, like what's some derogatory skinny tall people? So you have to see what I'm pointing to. Yeah. He's a friend.
Not anymore.
I digress. His name is Len. Alan, Len. And he's going back to Germany forever on Friday, so it's really nice to see him. I haven't seen him for ages. What I'm saying is, if the colors and shapes have to be such that only will this make me happy, if that's true, then everybody that has those colors and shapes in that order, in the Timothy Chalamet shape and colors, then if that happiness was coming from that, everybody that saw Timothy Chalamet must be in the same state of rapture. And the fact is, some people think he's just a weirdo, skinny dude that just excites no one. Yeah? Like most dudes in here are like, who the fuck's Timothy Chalamet? Right? And some girls like, no, please, I need a man, or whatever is going on. And if you get what I'm saying, is that if it really was the stuff out there that gave you that rush that you're looking for, first of all, everybody would be already grabbing to the colors and shapes that make them happy. And only those things radiating happiness will get attention, right? But that's not how it works. Some people get the colors and shapes, and then over time it disappears. The feeling disappears. If anyone's been in a relationship for more than a week, you know that the colors and shapes that excited you at the beginning begin to fade. And then we do all sorts of strategies to avoid looking at the truth about it. The truth is, no, you pissed me off today. Yeah? Whatever you did pissed me off today. Last week we were in love, today you pissed me off, tomorrow we're in love again. The reality of the world is that that thing stayed the same. And what changed is something in us. But we don't like that responsibility. It's so much easier if you pissed me off, because then I don't have to do anything. And if you remember last week, everyone believes the world should change, put up their hands. Yeah. People that think they themselves should change, nobody put up their hands. So all that to say, there is a wisdom that understands where things actually come from. And these are, the big Buddhist word for that is called dependent origination, or dependently arising things. Things that arise depend on something. So this is the Buddhist talk about why when I saw Timothy Chalamet, my heart fluttered. Fluttered? And yours didn't. I don't know if it's flattered. He's flattered. He's not flattered. He's creeped out that I'm talking about him. Yeah. So whatever the thing you think you want that will give you happiness, think of that. And let wake-upism smash it for you before it smashes you. Whatever you think is going to get you happy, wake-upists say it's just a dependently arising thing. It's a thing that arose independent of something, causes and conditions, or something else. It's not always radiating that quality that you think it has. Even if you get the thing you want, it will change. And not expecting it to change causes us suffering. Our expectations of that thing changing or not changing, not staying the same or not radiating causes us suffering, not the thing. If that's true, then how do I stay happy? How do I stay happy? And so all the if-but questions that I got over the week, to me, meant I have to talk about the Timothy Chalamet, the thing that you think is so fixed and unchanging that you'll either always be depressed or you'll always be looking for this happiness thing. Yeah, but what about this? What about anxiety? What about my terrible mom? What about my terrible dad? What about my negative state of mind? All things are changing things, but not out there. The change happens in here. So we're looking in the wrong place to fix a thing that could be fixed in the right place if you knew how. And that's why meditation teacher training, right? That's why learning how to meditate, how to bring your mind to focus on the thing that you want to work with, which is in your consciousness, in your mind, is the game changer. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't look for Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, it doesn't mean you shouldn't address anxiety. It just means that you're addressing it at the source rather than at the effect. If you haven't noticed already, I had this conversation with a friend recently. He's like, is it all terrible then? And the fact is that it's not all terrible. It's dependent on us. At the moment, everything that we engage with is like working with sandcastles. It's morning, the tide is out, and we just made the most beautiful sandcastle. We made our career, our relationship. We did the thing that we think is going to make us happy. Look at my sandcastle. And some of those things will take 5 years of your life or 6 weeks of your life. And we pin all our happiness on that sandcastle. And some of your sandcastles are stunning. Greece, whatever, right? Germany travel. Hair. No. Some of your sandcastles are stunning. But then the tide comes in and it changes. It doesn't stay. And the only thing that really stays, that creates the imprint, that creates the essence of the experience we have moving forward, is what you did with your mind as you made the sandcastle. Don't expect the sandcastles to stay. That will cause you suffering. Completely enjoy them whilst you have them. That will cause you bliss. You want to level up? Try and share the goodness of your sandcastles with other people who are trying desperately to make sandcastles in the hope that they'd be happy, and help them be a little bit happy whilst they have their shitty sandcastle for a day. It's okay. Humans are forever building sandcastles. All of them disappear. And that's what the Buddha said. I think it was the first class. I said there's 4 things that the Buddha said. The first thing he said after getting enlightened, life is suffering. And we all misinterpret that as, oh no, terrible. It's not that. It's like, no, your sandcastles will break. Don't get disappointed. Why waste your time either in fear that the sandcastle's got to go away and try and create the moat and whatever? It's going to break, right? Or have all your attachments, all your eggs in one basket. If I don't have this sandcastle, I'll disappear. You won't disappear. You'll just have to make another sandcastle that will disappear, right? So life is suffering means everything that you create will go away. And if your attachments is on that, you're screwed. But if your understanding, your wisdom says, wow, whilst I have this relationship, whilst I have this sandcastle, whilst I have this youth or hair, for all of you that have hair, I can live like in the best experience of that thing and share it with others who are trying. That sharing it with others that want to share their goodness actually is the mechanics that plants the goodness and the bliss in the consciousness that generates the experience of the next sandcastle. I don't know if that's talking around in circles. Am I confusing? Someone go, Hector, you're stupid. Yeah. Cecilia's like, okay, got it. I mean, I'm avoiding using the example of the pen, which you've all heard. If to wake up is to wake up from the idea that sandcastles make me happy. And that is waking up to that idea, realizes, oh, my relationship, my projections onto that sandcastle, which are not by choice, right? Once you have an experience, you have an experience. You meet Timothy Chalamet, you're going to have an experience, right? It'll either be or somewhere in the middle. You don't have control of that projection onto that sandcastle in the moment. But it came from somewhere. It came from something that you put in your mind before in order to have this experience in the now. Does that make sense? If that's the case, you stop worrying about the sandcastles so much that you depend on them, and you begin to plant the seeds that will project a very different future if your seeds are very different. And that's where all these wake-uppers practices then make sense. Then it's worth having compassion for people. Then it's worth loving people. Because all you're doing is you're planting positive imprints in your mind to force you to have a projection of a positive sandcastle, including the lack of expectation that it will last forever. And then every change becomes blissful rather than traumatic. And then any movement of your mind that would have otherwise caused you stress and anxiety creates acceptance of reality versus rejection of reality, because you're dealing with the right source rather than the colors and shapes. I don't know if that makes some sense to you all. I've been doing this a long time, and so I tend to ramble about things that I think make sense. What I'm trying to say is, having read all your questions, is that there's an answer for every question you have. And the answer is not in the way you ask the questions. It's like you have to turn yourself inside out to see how this world we're operating upside down, trying to get the sandcastles to stay. Keeping the sandcastles to yourself creates scarcity in your mind, which means you can't have sandcastles stay. Because cause and effect equal. Action creates an equal and opposite reaction. My sandcastle, my special career, my special life, not yours. Jealousy about your life. What it's doing is planting for other people to be jealous of your life, and then you have to live with jealousy. Greed, the same. Anger, the same. Yeah, but I'm angry at this thing. Okay, keep feeding anger to the system, and the system will make you be angry at your next sandcastle and the next person's sandcastle. The sandcastles come and go. Everything you will ever do comes and goes. You will have stunning moments. You will have stunning moments that will go. But what you can keep in every one of those stunning moments is the intent with which you wanted goodness for those around you, and yourself included, and wanted less harm for those around you, and yourself included. And if you habituate your mind, regardless the sandcastle, whether it's a good dinner out, or the dating app, or going to the job, or having a vacation in Greece, overlooking the water. Yeah. If you could try to shift the view from attachment to the external factors and check your state of mind throughout it, like as you're sitting there sunbaking. Sorry, I'm picking on Emily because she just got back from this, like on Instagram, it looked like the perfect trip to Greece. I wasn't jealous. But knowing what I just tried to describe, if I was Emily, and you probably did this, is you'd be sitting there basking in the beauty of your momentary sandcastle, because that's finished now, you're not there anymore. And in those moments, thought about the people that would love this experience, or wished that friends were with you, or picked out little things to tell someone else. If your mind was obsessed, not on the sandcastle of I'm taking really great pictures on Instagram about Greece, versus I really want to share this experience with someone else, you will keep the courses of a blissful sandcastle for the next sandcastle and the next and the next. Because our minds are forever projecting the stuff we record moment by moment by moment. And that's the thing we're waking up from. We're waking up from the idea that somehow I have to be in Greece and everyone that's in Greece overlooking the ocean is very happy. There's plenty of sad people in Greece overlooking the ocean. So it can't come from the ocean. It can't come from the white cliffs. It came from you, and we miss it. It's so simple, we miss it. But why did it come from you? Because sometimes you want to wake up and go, I'm going to be happy today. And I don't know if you've had those days where it doesn't matter what clothes you put on, it's disgusting. Right? It's like, that's not me wearing a bra, that's stretching the shirt. Why? Why can't you just force it? Well, you can't. It's an echo of something before, when you did something with a sandcastle and you impregnated your mind. I don't know another word. I don't want to say infected, but impregnated sounds a little bit better, but not really. Now I've got two problems, impregnated and infected. But you get it, right? Like, what state of mind are you doing things with? And that's why the invitation was, can you abide in that state of mind that was most blissful and try and experience this moment that way? And if you can't, can you think of someone else that would give you that feeling? And if you can't, can you think of the possibility that you can have a blissful state of mind? You're trying desperately to imprint the best seeds whilst you're working with this stupid sandcastle that will disappear anyway. That doesn't seem so stupid at the moment, because now I'm working and creating music, and I love this music and it's so nice. But watch your mind as you create music. Is it like, for me, because I'm going to be special? Because that's what you're going to get after the music's finished. Someone else trying to impress you about their music, and you're like, no, it's sort of shit. You want to be so special. That's where that comes from. Yeah, and I mean, it's in every tradition that I know of. Yeah, do unto others. Be the change you want to see in the world. Right? And the practices of wake-upism are all founded on the wisdom that understands the sandcastles isn't where the nature of your experience comes from. They are empty of having, the oceans in Greece are empty of forcing happiness in your mind. You get filtered through the eyeballs, your mind has an experience, your brain has sparks going off, and then your consciousness labels it depending on whatever you've put in your consciousness before. It ain't coming from the reflection of ocean. It never did. That was the misconception. That was the thing we're waking up from. That was the illusion. And a wake-upist, first of all, understands this intellectually, Then they practice. Oh, I'm going to practice. Next time I have a blissful moment, give it away. Dedicate it. Think of someone else. Because all I'm doing is impregnating my own mind, self-impregnating goodness into my mind. The next time you have a blissful something, your instinct you want to develop is share it, give it away, give it away, give it away. And then you can be the hot chili peppers. Not the, what, what is it? Red hot chili peppers. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. I don't know. Part of me is having a sandcastle moment. I had this dream that I'd come in here and really transmit what I was thinking about all day, and it's not coming out of my mouth in the way I wanted to. So I hope something's landing. Whatever's landing is your problem, right? Based on your past sandcastles. Really, it is. It really is. When you get an understanding of this wake-upist system, if you get the essence, which is whatever I do, I'm going to have to experience later. Whatever my intention or the state of mind I have whilst I'm doing the sandcastles, the temporary things that come and go, that's really what stays, is your state of being. And then you can get really trippy about that. You can begin to ask, well, with what identity did Emily experience the class today? Right? Like, how broad is that identity? Am I listening to this as a normal Emily who's about to go and have a problem? Probably not, because you're like Angel already. Am I listening to this as an Emily who's like blossoming in the world of like bliss or whatever? Like whatever state of mind or self-talk you have about who you think you are, that's also the flavor of the imprints in the consciousness that got impregnated whilst you built this sandcastle of an hour class. This class will finish. Things do that. They expand, contract, and what stays is what your identity and your story and your intentions were while listening. I guarantee you there's some of you going, get on with that, Hector. What's the point of the class? I know because I've been in a class, in the Dharma class, going, pizza coming at 8. There's some of you, hopefully, that are going, if I apply this to this sandcastle, I'm free of that suffering, and bless you for having that experience. It didn't come from the words I said. Prove it. Some people are bored. Some people are in between. The words that I'm saying do not carry the essence that you're experiencing. That part is you, and we miss it, right? I'm coming to Buddhist class. I'm going to be a good Buddhist. You can't force the result right now. All you can force is your intention behind the being here. And then wait. It's like planting a field of crops. Like it's planting crops. So what are you planting as you're sitting here listening, going, if my mum could hear this, or my sister could hear this, then that thing would disappear for her. Oh, if I could do, like if your intention is benevolent, wanting to help remove suffering, that's a good thing. If your identity while you're listening to that is like, I think I've got a way that I can manage life in an upward spiral, that I'm onto something and I feel good. And if you're listening with that kind of blissful thing, then the seed is infected with that same quality. And when it arises, when you're making your next sandcastle, that's the experience you're going to have. Perceive as if it's coming from the sandcastle, but it isn't. It's coming from you because of what you did, last week's class or whatever it is. So in relation to all your questions about, but this, if you get the essence that our minds are forever projecting our realities on the data of sandcastles that come and go, then all of a sudden we flip our attitude towards whatever we do from out there to in here. And we try and make it benevolent. We try and make it for the sake of everyone's happiness, to remove everyone's suffering. That's really the two things, right? I'm going to try and generate a state of mind that is naturally wishing no one suffers, and generate instead that everyone find their happiness. And I'm going to try and do that the next window of opportunity I have when I have a sandcastle to work on. And the sandcastles are my job, my career, the next breakfast. Like, you pick the sandcastle. Oh, my attention is here. I'm going to meditate every day. Okay, what identity do you sit and meditate with? I'm a bad meditator. I'm a bad meditator. I'm a bad meditator. That's what you're going to create. Yeah, or genuinely observe, oh, check out my mind wanting to tell me I'm a bad meditator. That's interesting. That must have come from an old seed. I'm going to shift it. I feel yucky about calling myself a bad meditator. There's probably a bunch of other meditators feeling this same tension. What if I figure it out, I dedicate it to them? Then that practice makes sense. Then you'll endure the hardship of struggling through a half an hour meditation, but your intention was imagining lots of people released from their sufferings. That's the imprint you're putting in your mind, which means next time, whenever a negativity arises, there's going to be something to cause it to shift into, I don't have that negativity anymore. That's where the real work is at. If it wasn't here, if it wasn't in that, if it wasn't in the recoding of your, what do you call it? The algorithm, right? In our own internal apps, right? The algorithm keeps showing you more. If you look at my Instagram, it's all Timothy Chalamet's on the, and I never picked it. They just hear me saying, Timothy Chalamet, right? And then I go on to, is it For You page? Is that what it is? The main page? The Discover? It really is Buddhist monks and Timothy Chalamet, because I've talked so much about, I've never liked a Timothy Chalamet picture, but it's just that. Our minds are doing the same. Whatever algorithm you keep focusing on, even the I'm not good enough, that's what your mind will show you. That's what the Discover page will show you. Yeah. And to me, that's the most empowering thing I've heard on this planet. That somewhere inside each of you lies infinite potential. You don't have to have Timothy Chalamet appear on your Discover page. You choose who you want by acting towards the sandcastles with the state of being that you want. And that sandcastles are other people too. How do you relate to your friends? How do you relate to strangers? And then the practices get stronger and faster and stronger and faster. Initially, we take care of ourselves. Oh, I'm going to take care of myself. That's good. Then you start taking care of friends and family. Take care of them. Wish them good. Or wish them no suffering. Or wish them happiness. Meditations on it. Practices of service on it. Blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, that's not enough. I want to really saturate my mind, my algorithm, with everyone that's a human deserves happiness. Like, why not? So you try and think of people that you wouldn't normally think of and wish them well. Maybe even act towards them well, even if you don't really want to. Talk to the homeless person a little bit. Try and think, we're under the same human condition. I've got a good sandcastle at the moment, this body, this mind. That one doesn't seem to have had the best sandcastle yet. What can I do to relate? How can I help? Within my limits, right? Within my limits. I'm not saying go be a martyr. Within my limits, can I grow my algorithm so I can then experience other people who might not have the sandcastles I have and help them get the sandcastles they want? That changes things. And then there are harder practices where you still do the same thing, but then can you do that towards the people that your mind rejects, like completely rejects? So long as your mind keeps rejecting, you're only ever going to find rejection. And I'm not saying go dive into that most difficult of practice, but can you stand in front of someone that really drives you crazy and have some understanding of their state of mind or some wish that they could find happiness, even if they act crazy? That's more difficult. Looking at the time, doing good. I want to do two stories, and then I want to answer questions. Yeah. So the first story is I felt blessed on the weekend more than usual. I also felt deep sorrow for people I love in my life. I want to paint this picture. It's the 70s. It's a country called Argentina. It's a little house made by a couple that loved each other. My mum and dad. My mum would mix cement. My dad would put the bricks together, and they made a 2-room house for them and the 4 little ones to live there. I wish I had a picture. I look really stupid in it. Like I have a bob cut. And there's 4 little siblings. We'd share a room. 2 sisters, myself and my younger brother. And like life does, our consciousness guides us to specific sandcastles. And when you're little, you're like all close, your family. And you buy the story that families are perfect and happy. And so all the undercurrent tensions go unnoticed. Yeah. But then life happens more and more, and you begin to move away from that initial connection like we did. We moved to Australia, nice traumatic event, no language, everyone looked different. Every one of us experienced that trauma very differently. I was very excited to be amongst a bunch of people that I didn't know anything about. They didn't say the same sounds that I did. I was full of inquisitive. My nature was to be inquisitive about this weird place. I got bashed at school. I had problems like anyone. Yeah, a migrant kid in an all-white Aussie blonde, blue-eyed school, of course, was going to get bashed and made fun of. Yeah, but I still was like interested. I'm like, these people are weird, but I was excited about it. One of my sisters was like, these people are weird. I'm going to study. I'm going to be so smart that they can't get me. My other sister was, these people are weird, but I need their approval. So she became the dater of all the folk. I don't know if that's an accurate description. I'm probably butchering my sister's memory. And my brother had some extra issues in that experience, and he just withdrew. He just cocooned. But then we're all like 15, 11. Like life happens, and you have a reaction to the sandcastles because you think the sandcastles are doing it. But even at that age of being 11, I could tell that my reaction was different to their reaction. Like my mind was aware that it couldn't be the place. What a blessing to have that at 11. First blessing in my mind. Wow, I could see how it's not the sandcastle, it's us. And so I had a different awareness of what was happening to us. I didn't take it too seriously that I got bashed up or that I didn't fit in. I took it like, I don't fit in, I'm special. They took it as, I don't fit in, I'm bad. Now, I didn't force that. It just happened. They didn't force that, it just happened. Something in our minds was causing that experience out of that sandcastle reality. Good? Then, parents split up. Another trauma. Parents are not supposed to, at least in the 70s where I grew up, it was a kind of stigma. Your parents are separated. No, they're divorced. Divorced? You know, and so you were like, oh, you have to go to the special program for the divorced kids, you know? And I did. I got taken to like, oh, here's some charity for you. Go to the special program. My sisters took it as shameful. My brother took it as like, I don't want to be involved. And I took it as, let's meet some more people. Like, blah, 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 right? And it really was a different thing. On the contrary, my sisters were like, now they had to be adults and take care of us. And I took it as, yeah, both my parents are preoccupied with their own bullshit. I'm getting pink hair, 5 piercings. I'm trying drugs for the first time. Like, I'm doing all the things that you're not supposed to, because now they're preoccupied. And for me, it really was an experience of awakening. Yeah. And so I hope you're getting the traits of those 4 kids, right? And you all have probably some relationship to siblings or family members. Hopefully you're feeling like I'm emotional about it. I'm 55. These relationships we have with each other as we engage with sandcastles has an effect on your mind. And I'm telling you all this story because 3 years ago, my mum passed away. And one of my sisters lives in London. I live here. My brother moved to Kansas with his wife, and my sister lives in Brisbane. And we don't really talk to each other that much. They have babies and families and their own sandcastles. I run 3 Jewels. I'm the weird guy with a beard and they think I'm some kind of spiritual person, but they don't really, because they're like, you're my brother, you're an asshole. But you're so, like, they have their own projections of who I am. I have my own projections of who they are. We were forced to be together in a room when my mum died. And you could see the way that each of us responded to your mother parting, a direct correlation to the 4 initial responses when we moved to Australia. One was like completely victimized. My life is over. This is terrible. Screaming at the doctors. It's your fault. You killed my mother. I mean, she had cancer. She was going to die. My brother curled up on the couch. My other sister trying to be efficient so she doesn't have to deal with the emotion. And me trying to bring everyone together. Because that's what I've been habituating. And it was so evident it didn't come from the situation. So then, because of our family dynamics, these 4 little kids that loved each other dearly and created whole different experiences, began to have issues about what to do with my mum's estate. It was like $3.50 or something. It wasn't a lot of... Don't laugh at my mum's poorness. No, only kidding. My mum left us her house. We had to sell it and divide it, right? It was like not a lot of money. But the 4 of us had very different expectations on how that should happen. And because it was a very charged sandcastle, emotions were high. And so for 3 years, it didn't get resolved. And finally, I got a mediator, a third party, to bring us all together to force us to talk, because let's work everything out. Right? And it was a 5-hour mediation from 1 in the morning till 6 in the morning, or 12:30 to 5:30 in the morning, my time, 3 p.m. Australia time, 4 a.m. something London time. And I got to see the states of mind of 4 individuals who landed on this planet innocent and wanting happiness and not wanting unhappiness, and in their 50s and nearly 60s, replay all the bullshit that we put in our minds for all that time. And I felt blessed that I could see everybody's pain and where it came from the way they reacted to each of their sandcastles that brought them to that mediation. And they screamed at each other and they yelled and they like, you did this to me when I was 15. Intercoursing 50, like, get over it. Right? Yes, but mum said this. She's dead. Like, she wants your happiness. Why are you doing this to each other? So it needed a third party to bring us together. And all I could see was that reality is real for you. That reality is, you really are stressed and suffering. You really do think it's his fault or her fault. You really think I'm a pain in the ass to try and bring everybody together. And all I could see was this painful experience of being did not have to be if you could only have worked in your mind every time those sandcastles came and went. Each layer of your response to the world creates your world. Your response to your world creates the world you step into next week and next week and next week. And it's easy to lean on the negativity, the darkness, the sadness, the terribleness. That's easy. It's easy to blame you for my feelings. I don't have to do anything. It's infinitely harder. It takes an infinite amount of real insight to take full responsibility for the entirety of this mess that is our current existence and say, my response to it will not add to it. My response to this world, the imprints I put in my mind, will serve to remove the suffering of everyone. So I hope that story shared something with you. You're not 50, all of you, or maybe you are, but you're young enough to change your imprints. Whatever you respond to the world like is what you'll become. And I invite you, like Emily, to find the most awesome part of you and just put on that suit even when it doesn't feel like it, because it will have an effect. It will have, or at least wish that you could put on a suit. And if you see someone else dealing with some sandcastles, with sadness or sorrow, give them a helping hand if you can. Let them find a blissful moment in their mind, an intention that is helpful, because you keep that. You don't keep the sandcastles, they go away. But you keep the intentions with which you do. Every wake-uppers practice is that, imprinting in your mind the thing that you're going to have to suffer or enjoy in the future. There's nothing else. There's no magic to it. It's just cause and effect. And I know that part of the lure of spiritual practice for people is that you're going to be super spiritual and special. And the way you get to be special is by engaging with reality with this fervor to realize that you can have the blissful life you want, but it takes the work to do it. And the work is not like effort with sandcastles. It's a kind of deep acknowledgement of what is. Oh, there's some suffering over there. Oh, there's some goodness over there. And then choosing to be kind, to be all the positive qualities you want to have, to be that towards others in the world. And that just loads up the projector of your reality, and then let the crops ripen. You can't force the crops to ripen. You can't force the trees to fruit. They will fruit. If you've planted sweet fruit, if you planted sweet seeds, you must get trees that give you sweet fruit. If you plant bitter seeds, anger, frustration, you're just going to get more of that, even in your spiritual practice. I'm a good meditator, I'm not so good, she's not better. You're just planting jealousy in your spiritual practice. Real waking up is finding that play, recognizing what I do has a consequence in my future, and then just deciding everything I do, say, and think should have some kindness, and relax into it. It's fun to see the world as infinitely changeable. And sandcastles come and go. I'm not attached when it goes, but I enjoyed it for how many weeks were you in Greece? Just 1 week in Greece, right? But isn't that stunning, right? It's just 1 week. Some people might go, it's only a week. But you're like, no, 1 week in Greece? Like, you see the difference? Both differences will have an effect. I hope that helped and that answered some of your questions. I can answer them more directly. Yes, you can still be a powerful mum and an awesome mother when you have a little one or a big one. It doesn't matter. You can be the awesome part of you, and your mind will tell you stories. Yeah, but am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Love the kid. Love the possibility of the kid. Support other mums with kids so they can have the experience you want to have. All of a sudden, it changes the game. For all you mothers out there and little baby over there. Say hi. Yeah, nice. Oh, she used to be so scared of me. You're not scared of me anymore. Now she stopped. She's like, oh, okay. I'm going to have room for one question. If someone has a question, put up your hand online, and then we're going to hang out in the studio for 10, 15 minutes. Anyone got a comment or question, something they want to share or say? Oh, and then I've got to do this. Yeah. No one. Everyone's like perfect. Russia, good. Hannibal, is that a question?
Didn't you say you had 2 stories?
Oh, I can't hear it. Try again.
Didn't you say you had 2 stories?
I did, but I looked at the time and I'm like, I'm just leaving that. The other story, actually, I'll do it quickly. Yeah, thanks for that question. I have a friend in the place I live at the Opera House Lofts in Brooklyn. This guy's like, his fashion is off the charts. Like every time he walks down the steps, he's like some fashionista. He's just stunning. He's got this bulldog. He's a photographer, rapper. He's like all sorts of beauty. Everything about him is stunning. Every time he's kind. Every time I see him, he's like telling me some stuff I'm in awe of him. Yesterday he had some kind of mental breakdown, and or he was high on something, and he just couldn't stop being paranoid. And it broke my heart to see him thinking that he's doing okay, but people around him are like, dude, you got to sit down, dude. Like they called the cops on him to try and settle him down, and he couldn't understand why, and his mind cracked. Yeah, and I'm hoping that it's not a permanent thing. I'm hoping it was either just drugs or temporary thing, because it broke my heart to see him so out of character from what I've known him for a year now. And I was coming to class, and I had to keep talking to him because he wouldn't stop talking in front of me. And I was thinking how fragile our states of minds are. Like the fact that you can bring your ass to a class or click the things on the computer and be there and have your sandcastle of existence be just the way it seems, like sort of manageable within your limits, right? We don't know when things change, but we know they do. Everything will change, including the state of mind that you have, your health, everything will change. And so there's the awareness of that story for here was there's always this window that when the window is open, we think it's always there. It's not, it's just another sandcastle. The window where your mind is clear, where your motivation's powerful, where you find yourself with kindness, where you find yourself with capacity and love. Use it before the sandcastle goes away, because he can't do all the awesome things that he could do last week or the week before. He couldn't today. Yeah, he was barefoot. He was like a mess, and he couldn't figure out exactly what was going on, but he was in some euphoric state. And I'm like, damn, I want to help this dude get back to that. Like that's my wanting that sandcastle to stay together. But the fact is, everyone's sandcastle of self-identity is going to change. You know, at some point, who you think you are will change. So if you have a moment of bliss, a moment where you felt like MTT, yeah, a moment where you felt rapture, a moment where you feel capable, or feel active or energized, use that window. You can create more of that by giving that away. So that was the story. Thanks for asking me. Sean, his name is, and it broke my heart to say, I've got to go. I should have spent a little bit more time with him. Sorry, it's not a super happy story. But it's a real story. And if it hasn't woken something up in you that you have more power than you think, because working in here is where it's at, I invite you to think about it. think the awesomeness in your life came from something awesome you did before. And doing that can create more awesomeness. Until next week. Oh, I've got to make some announcements. A couple of announcements. If you're in the New York area or not, we have openings for a Karma Yogi program. 3 Jewels is a nonprofit. We run by volunteers and the generosity of people that come here by donations. So if you want to be part of this community and make the space available for others to have experiences, Karma Yoga program, there's a button online, is that right?
Yeah,
website join Karma Yogi. Yeah, and then Diego will connect with you, and so will Zoe. Thank you. Meditation teacher training. Thank you. Applications close in 3 weeks, and I'm interviewing a bunch of people to have just this awesome group of people that are learning how to meditate, what to do with it, and hopefully teach others to do the same. There's a couple of people in the room who are going to do it. New something. Oh, there's a new schedule coming September 6th on a new platform. So you'll see some changes to our website, and don't freak out. It's going to be for the better. So you won't see the schedule from September 5th onwards, because it'll seem blank until we switch over on Friday, and then you'll see availability for class next week. That's all I've got for you. I want to say hi to the friends in Russia who are staying up till bloody hour in the morning. Thank you for translating live. Thank you, Natasha and team. Thank you, Nikita and team. We love you from New York and everywhere else in the United States. That's it for me. Thank you, everyone online. See you next week if you're interested. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the music. See you, Hannibal and Elena and little baby Carlos. Awesome to have you here. Thanks, Missy. Anna, hi. Sophia, hi. Koana, miss you. Renata, hi. Thank you, Lily and Anthony. Cecilia, hi. Santi, I saw you now. Good. Ella, wow. Thanks for talking today. I hope the message went well. The conversation went well. Victor, goodbye. Going once, going twice. Michael, love you. Bye. Bye, baby. Okay, bye, everyone.